Chapter 1 Simulating a Perfect Crime 100,000 Times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Escaped successfully, no one found the murderer during the prosecution period. Congratulations to the host for completing the simulation of a 5-star difficulty case, the secret room serial murder case, and gaining the criminal ability, God-level scene layout, God-level disguise transformation. Congratulations to the host for successfully completing 100,000 simulated crimes. All special skills have been learned. You can choose any crime simulation for review at any time in the future. From today on, the perfect crime will appear in this world. It ended with the sound in my head. Su Ming slowly opened his eyes, stared at the ceiling, exhaled a breath, and murmured to himself. It's finally over. 100,000 cases, and I need to escape capture every time, from the simplest fights to serial murders. I haven't had a good night's sleep in the past 4 years. At least 8 cases are simulated every night. But it's all worth it. Now I basically have all the skills in the world, right? As small as unlocking a door in 5 seconds and being a casino prankster, as big as psychological profiling and piloting a fighter jet, I have already mastered it all in my mind. It seems that this system wants to turn you into a perfect criminal. No matter what evil you do, you will not be discovered by the police and arrested and imprisoned. Only. Before Su Ming could finish his sigh, Wang Hu, a friend in the same dormitory, put on his trainee police officer uniform early and patted Su Ming's bedside. Brother Ming, don't sleep now. Today is the day we report to the Criminal Investigation Brigade for internship. Don't be late on the first day and leave a bad impression on the leader. This urge, let Su Ming get out of bed quickly, wash up and start putting on his trainee police uniform. That's right, Su Ming did not intend to be a criminal, but instead planned to be a criminal investigation policeman who arrested criminals, even, with the experience of 100,000 simulated crimes. In the criminal police recruitment assessment 3 months ago, Su Ming received an unprecedented perfect score. The most perfect criminal is also the best detective. Magic City, Huaihai District Criminal Investigation Brigade. Since this is a district-affiliated organizational structure, the Criminal Investigation Brigade is also responsible for anti-drug responsibilities, and no additional anti-drug brigade has been established. Many officers in police uniforms are busy working, some are checking files, and some are arranging the latest arrest plan. In the office of the director of the Criminal Investigation Brigade, Lin Tian flipped through his personal files. After looking at them for a few seconds, he looked at the 2 people in front of him and smiled. Su Ming and Wang Hu. Welcome to the Huaihai District Criminal Investigation Brigade. Currently you are still in the internship period. After you graduate from the police academy, you will automatically be transferred to the probationary period. Within the 1-year internship period. As long as you don't make any big mistakes, you can become a regular employee directly. If you have meritorious service, you can become a regular employee in advance. Do you have any more questions? Wang Hu, who looked excited, quickly responded with his head raised and his chest raised. No problem. Lin Tian looked at Su Ming, who didn't answer immediately, raised his eyebrows and continued. Su Ming. Is there something wrong with you? Compared to Wang Hu's excitement, Su Ming looked extremely calm and ignored Wang Hu's little move of poking himself with his elbow. He was neither humble nor arrogant. Report to the Forest Bureau. I hope you can send me to the front line to directly participate in the detection of various criminal cases and learn in practice. Normally, newly hired trainee police officers must review files and do chores to hone their character. They cannot be directly sent to the front line, but, for Su Ming, if you can't participate in the case immediately and do those meaningless chores, you might as well become the most perfect criminal in history. This answer, Lin Tian was obviously a little surprised, but after seeing Su Ming's perfect score in the criminal investigation examination, he frowned slightly and thought for a few seconds before standing up. Okay. You 2 follow me. There happens to be an arrest mission this afternoon. I asked Xiao Su to take you there. Although it's not a big case, it still allows you to see the world. Lin Tian took the lead and walked out of the office. When he came to the case handling area and looked at Su Chongqing, who had just finished the arrest mission, he said without any doubt. Xiao Su. I will give you 2 newcomers here, and you will take care of them from now on. Let them participate in the afternoon arrest mission and understand how our real criminal investigation team works. Su Chongqing is about in his early 30s, it has been 10 years since he joined the Criminal Investigation Brigade. Although he is wearing a police uniform, he always smiles and does not look old, but don't be fooled by this appearance. When facing criminals, Su Chongqing is as sharp as a tiger and has cracked many cases in recent years. Bringing in new people is a chore, but Su Chongqing showed no sign of impatience. The old and the new are the legacy of the police force. He was also Lin Tian's apprentice many years ago, and is now able to stand alone. Then he waved his hand to indicate. I understand, master. You 2 come with me, even though we still have a few hours until the scheduled arrest. But we have to go squat first. After saying that, Su Chongqing left with Su Ming and Wang Hu to prepare for this arrest plan. As the 3 left, Lin Tian walked up to a female police officer in the office and asked with a frown. Xiao Li. Is the statute of limitations for the 5.13 dismemberment case at Shanghai University about to expire? Hearing Lin Tian's question, the female police officer immediately retrieved the specific files of the 5.13 dismemberment case at Shanghai University and nodded in response. Yes, Director Lin. It has been almost 20 years since the first case was filed, and there are only 2 months left before the statute of limitations expires. The details of the case have not been updated for 5 years, and it has completely become one of the biggest unsolved cases in our Huaihai district. Lin Tian did not hesitate at all. He tapped his fingers on the table and said firmly. Help me to complete the statute of limitations extension procedures. As long as I am still here, this case will be prosecuted indefinitely. I will not allow. The murderer who committed such a heinous dismemberment case can get away with it easily and without any burden because the statute of limitations has expired. And I believe. There is no perfect crime in this world. We must have just not caught the most important evidence. After that, Lin Tian returned to his office, rubbing his brows with his fingers, recalling it in his mind. 20 years ago, I was involved in a heinous university dismemberment case. Chapter 2. Unlock the car door in 3 seconds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huaihai Criminal Investigation Brigade parking lot. Su Chongqing walked towards his private car while describing the arrest. This arrest is for drug dealing number 4, also known to the public as heroin. The information was provided by an informant and was highly accurate, and the volume of transactions was high. According to the informant's information, the buyer plans to buy 5 hands of number 4 drugs, 5 grams per hand, which is already 25 grams. As for the seller's words, this is the second time you have entered the palace. If you are involved in drug trafficking this time, even if you don't eat peanuts, you will have to sit in jail. The buyer and the seller were doing the transaction for the first time and were not familiar with each other. The transaction location they arranged is at the Zhongshan Road pedestrian street, which has a large number of tourists and a large flow of people. It can hide their whereabouts very well. This is all the trick of an old fritter. Just as Su Chongqing said, some real drug dealers and addicts, if they choose a place to trade, actually, not only are they not in remote corners, but they are usually in downtown areas. There is a lot of traffic, which is the best protective color. In particular, this kind of person has never been traded before, and everyone on both sides is afraid that the police are fishing for law enforcement. In order to prevent them from waking up and causing the transaction to be cancelled, we took undercover action. In addition to the 3 of us, there are more than 10 people participating in this arrest, and they will be hidden in every corner and place. You 2 stay with me, so as not to do anything and wake them up later. By the way, the Forestry Bureau just said it. You 2 will follow me from now on, but you don't need to call me master, as it will make me look too old. Just call me brother. He's already around ahead of you, so it doesn't count as an advantage. After hearing the general arrest details, as well as follow-up arrangements, Su Ming and Wang Hu nodded in unison and replied. Clear. That the three of them walked side by side. Walk to your private car. Su Chongqing dug into his pockets and was suddenly stunned for a moment. He turned his pockets directly and didn't even see the car keys. Immediately afterwards, Su Chongqing pressed himself against the car window, saw the bunch of keys on the seat, and slapped his thigh. "I'm sorry. I lost my car keys in the car. Now I'm in trouble. I have to call the locksmith. We must hurry up, otherwise there will be problems with the arrest." After saying that, Su Chongqing looked at Su Ming and Wang Hu beside him and sighed with some annoyance. "I'm good at everything. It's just these little things that I tend to forget, and I often lose sight of them. This is the third time that I threw the keys in the car and forgot to take them out. Okay, I'll call the unlocker. I'm pretty familiar with it." In order to avoid Su Chongqing being too embarrassed, Wang Hu, who was quick thinking, saw the self-service vending machine next to him and immediately relaxed the atmosphere. "Brother Sheng, Brother Ming, do you want something to drink? I just happened to buy a bottle of water while waiting for the lock to be unlocked. It will probably take a long time to wait for those people." Su Chongqing's mind was no longer here. He waved his hand and said casually, "Anything is fine. Look at it and buy it." Then he slammed the roof of the car hard. Damn it. This locksmith doesn't know what he's doing. Why didn't he answer the phone? Su Ming, who was standing nearby, looked around for a moment. He quickly walked to the iron railing not far away, pulled off a piece of thin wire for binding, and walked to the path beside the car door. "Brother Sheng, give in. Let me see if I can open the lock directly." Su Chongqing was about to make another unlocking call when he saw the thin wire in Su Ming's hand, subconsciously giving up his position, but without much expectation. "Okay. Su Ming, give it a try. I'll find other unlocking phones." After saying that, he stopped paying attention, start searching for the nearest locksmith shop, but 3 seconds later. Click. The crisp sound of a key opening sounded. Su Ming opened the car door directly and said without caring, "Okay, Brother Sheng. Let's go to the designated location quickly and prepare to arrange this arrest." Looking at the opened car door, Su Chongqing was stunned for a moment. The phone was still held to his ear when the voice of the locksmith came. "Hello? Hello? Who is it? Are you talking? I'm making harassing phone calls." As the phone was hung up, Su Chongqing also reacted immediately and took a deep look at the wire in Su Ming's hand. He quickly picked up the keys and started the car. "Come on, get in the car." Su Ming stuffed the thin wire into his pocket, opened the passenger door, glanced at Wang Hu, who was still in front of the self-service vending machine, and shouted, "Huzi, let's go." Looking at the car that has started, Wang Hu was stunned for a moment, then trotted over immediately with a lot of water and drinks in his arms. "Fuck, come on, wait for me." The car starts, head towards Zhongshan Road pedestrian street. Su Chongqing turned his head and glanced at Su Ming, who had a determined look beside him, and said seemingly casually, "Who taught you that? This unlocking speed is faster than the average master." Su Ming did not answer immediately. In his mind, he kept recalling those 100,000 criminal simulations, but there are many cases that require the use of lock-picking skills to carry out theft or burglary. It is no exaggeration to say, now Su Ming's lock-picking skills are almost the same as those of the masters who have been doing this for a lifetime. As for other skills, of course, they are not much different. This is the bonus brought by simulating crimes 100,000 times. Suppressing the thoughts in his mind, Su Ming shrugged and answered quite easily. "I learned it from the internet. At least it is not difficult in general. As long as you try more, everyone can master it." For this obviously perfunctory answer, Su Chongqing was not surprised at all, and did not continue to ask. He still had a smile on his face and looked forward. It really deserves to be the first full score in the police exam in so many years. You can learn this lock-picking skill by looking at it on the internet. Speaking of which, if Xiao Ming, you are not a criminal police, I have to pull you to file a record just now. Su Ming turned his head to look out the window, his eyes flickered, and he kept complaining in his heart. If I wasn't a criminal police, I'm afraid there would be so many unsolved cases in this world. Simulate 100,000 times, the most perfect crime, I can do it easily. When Su Changsheng and Su Ming were talking, Wang Hu, who was sitting in the back row, was holding several bottles of water in his arms with a confused look on his face. Sometimes he looked at Su Ming, sometimes at Su Changsheng. What the hell? Is it really that exaggerated? I only bought a few bottles of water, why can't I keep up with the topic? Chapter 3 The First Capture Mission. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhongshan Road Pedestrian Street. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Although it is currently 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but, however, the number of tourists is still very large and there are even many tourist groups, which makes the overall arrest much more difficult. Su Changsheng parked the car, but he didn't get out of the car immediately, and handed 2 miniature headsets to Su Ming and Wang Hudao. Hide these 2 headsets and put them on. All arrest operations will be communicated on the channel as soon as possible to avoid any accidents. Right. We are parked right in the middle of the intersection. If you two look at it like this, can you find out how many of them are ours? It just so happens that you haven't met them yet. Let me see if you are qualified in the investigation subject. As soon as these words came out, Su Ming looked towards the street in front of him, carefully observed the stalls and shops, and even the tourists in the tour group. Wang Hu also leaned forward, staring at the street in front of him. He scratched his head after a few seconds and said with some embarrassment. Brother Sheng. I don't see the problem. Inside this street. Are there really any of our people? This answer, Su Changsheng smiled, then shook his head and explained. Of course. But they hid it very well. You just joined the internship, so it's normal that you didn't notice it. After all. If you can see it so quickly, then the fish might be frightened away, then. Before Su Changsheng could finish speaking, Su Ming withdrew his gaze and spoke without any doubt. 4. There are 4 of our people on this main street. As soon as these words came out, Su Changsheng was stunned for a moment and looked at Su Ming in great surprise, because, the number of people Su Ming just mentioned, that's the number of plainclothes criminal police officers Su Changsheng arranged on this street. Silence for 2 seconds, Su Changsheng turned to stare at Su Ming and asked quite seriously. Xiao Ming. You're not fooled, are you? 4. Can you tell which 4 they are? As an experienced criminal police officer, Su Changsheng still didn't believe that a newcomer who hadn't even started on the mission could so easily see the hidden plainclothes. Guess. It's definitely a guess. But Su Ming's answer without hesitation completely shattered this idea. The first one is the fruit stall in the center of the street. The stall owner under the umbrella does not sell anything when the customers come, but it is too obvious to look around. The second one was a customer in a convenience store. Although he bought Odin and beer to hide it, it was obvious that he only ate a sip of Odin without drinking beer. The third one was the tour guide at the far end. Although he raised the tour guide flag and took the tourists to the store, he came out for air when he should have encouraged the tourists to pay. This is an abnormal behavior. The fourth one was the best at hiding, but he wasn't impeccable. He was the security guard closest to us who blocked vehicles from entering the pedestrian street. Although there were no major problems with his appearance and movements, his expression gave him away. Speaking of which, Su Ming suddenly turned to look at Su Changsheng, and continued with a hint. Brother Sheng. Do you know what a real intersection guard looks like? She should be impatient and irritable, not even wanting to say half a sentence, instead of patiently pointing out the parking lot to those cars like she is now. Of course it can be interpreted as the first day on the job. He has never been beaten by such a boring job, and he is full of curiosity about everything, but there is no expression of stiffness or nervousness on his face. The superposition of these various details is enough to prove his identity. Am I right? Brother Sheng. No matter reconnaissance or counter-reconnaissance, Su Ming is enough to be called a master, far superior to ordinary detectives and criminals. After listening to this analysis, Su Changsheng looked at Su Ming deeply as if he were looking at a monster, then quickly pressed the mini headset and shouted angrily. Old Chen, when you sell fruit, sell it well and don't pay attention to other customers. Xiao Su, throw away the beer on your table, replace it with Coke, and give me a few sips from time to time. Also Archie, when you are a tour guide, you should give proper explanations to tourists instead of just standing outside the store. Finally, Lao Lin. When you are a security guard, you have to be more aggressive. Don't be so patient. How can any security guard be patient enough to answer questions for car owners? All the fish will be scared away by pretending like this. It ended with Su Changsheng's roar. The 4 criminal police officers in plain clothes suddenly shook their bodies and began to adjust their postures and expressions. They never thought about it. The behavior I thought I was hiding well turned out to have so many flaws. What's going on? Is Su Changsheng's powers of observation so strong? Can you find their shortcomings? 3 seconds later, the 4 of them are visibly in harmony with the environment. At least, without careful observation, it is absolutely impossible to see any problems. After listening to Su Changsheng's roar, Wang Hu, who was sitting in the back row, had already opened his mouth wide, his eyes full of shock and confusion. Brother Ming, how did you see this? Why did I look over? No problem, normal people would do those little tricks, right? Does that mean I'm not suitable to be a criminal policeman? Su Ming still looked calm, put on the micro headset, and said nonchalantly. Observe more, analyze more, learn more, and watch more. It won't take long before you can see the tricks. Su Changsheng finished his roar. He also put on the headset and took up the conversation at the right time inside. Huzi, stop doubting yourself. It's not that you are not suitable to be a criminal police, it's just that Su Ming is too suitable. When Director Lin took me on the first mission, he also asked me to see how many people in our bureau were disguised as plainclothes. I'm better. I saw one of the 3 people, but I couldn't tell the other 2 apart. Finally I understand. Why is it that in all these years, only Su Ming can get full marks in the criminal police recruitment assessment? Okay, get out of the car. According to the transaction time, the 2 fish will come in an hour, you 2 follow me. Then. In this transaction, the seller is a middle-aged man with a medium to short build, and there are no other characteristics. Pay attention later, don't miss any suspicious person. Chapter 4, full of loopholes. Do you understand what a perfect drug deal is? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Ming and the other 3 were sitting on the seats outside a cooking restaurant, because the pedestrian street has a lot of traffic. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Every snack bar and restaurant will move their seats to the open space next to them, and the 3 people in plain clothes will not attract anyone's attention, but although the 3 of them seem to be eating and chatting seriously, and taking a bite of food from time to time, their eyes were always on the passers-by. As time passes by, Wang Hu looked at his phone and found that it was already 10 minutes beyond the scheduled transaction time. He picked up a garlic oyster on the table and stuffed it into his mouth, muttering in slang. Why is this oyster a little fishy? Is it bad? Is the suspect awake? Su Changsheng showed no expression at all. I also picked up a garlic oyster and tasted it. It's not broken. This is probably because the shopkeeper's baking time was a little short. We shouldn't have been in a hurry to ask him to bring it over just now. Don't be anxious, wait a little longer. Speak of it. You know where the oysters are the best. He was about to chat with Su Ming. Su Changsheng, who used this to create the illusion of a normal tourist, suddenly stopped talking when a burning sour smell suddenly came from the tip of his nose. Su Ming also smelled this smell at the same time. Then he glanced at the person who just passed behind Su Changsheng, a thin, middle-aged man wearing construction site clothing. Immediately afterwards, Su Ming immediately looked at Su Changsheng, nodded his head without revealing his expression, and continued what he had just said. Brother Su, of course I know. If you want to talk about these oysters, they have to be the best from Russian. I heard that Russian oysters have matured recently, and they should be delivered to the tables here in Shanghai soon. I just don't know when we will ask workers to harvest them. Although Wang Hu is sitting on the far side, I didn't smell the burning sour smell, but what Su Ming just said seemed to be talking about oysters, but it actually expressed the slang of not being in a hurry to close the net when a criminal suspect appeared. It quickly became clear, one of the people who just passed by was a suspect. There was no hesitation at all. Wang Hu flicked his chopsticks, pretended to finish eating, stood up, took out his cell phone and said, "Boss, I paid. How much is the total here?" Although the ability to detect criminal suspects is not good, but Wang Hu is very good at grabbing money, and his main skill is to make money. As the middle-aged man wearing construction site clothes walked away, Su Ming pretended to stretch, but actually pressed his hands on the mini headset and whispered with absolute certainty. The seller shows up. Wearing yellow construction site clothes, he is about 165 centimeters tall. He can clearly smell the burning and sour odor left by smoking number 4 on his body. I suggest, don't move for now, wait for another fish to appear. Su Ming's words, the same sound rang in the ears of Su Changsheng and Wang Hu. To prevent any accidents, Su Changsheng also pressed the mini headset and immediately issued more precise orders. Old Chen, Xiao Su. If the fish swims towards you, just follow it and keep the headset on to keep in touch at any time. The words just fell. Lao Chen's low, rough voice was heard immediately. A situation arises. You threw a cigarette box into the grass outside the exit of the pedestrian street parking lot, and immediately blended into the crowd again to leave. Xiao Su and I are currently following from a distance, and this fish can no longer escape. Wait for another fish to show up. Xiao Su and I will close the net again. It's obvious, those involved in this operation were all veteran detectives, very clear. If the seller is arrested now, it is likely that the buyer will be directly frightened. After all, dare you take the cigarette box throwing trade like this? It undoubtedly illustrates, there is a high probability that buyers and sellers are communicating in real time. After the buyer also appears, it is most appropriate to arrest them at the same time. Su Changsheng stood up, picked up the car keys on the table and said, "Walk. Go wait in the car." The remote alley that old Chen mentioned just now happens to be right next to the exit of the parking lot. Let's wait and see. 2 minutes later, the three of them had returned to the car. His eyes were fixed on the grass at the exit, and there were several other plainclothes men hiding not far away. As long as the order is given, the arrest can be carried out immediately. Waiting at this moment, it seemed extremely torturous and long. Su Changsheng looked at Su Ming beside him and asked curiously, "Xiao Ming, can you tell me? What is the reason that allows you to identify the suspect so quickly?" "Because I had my back to people having the abortion, I just smelled a distinct burning and sour smell." "How can you be sure before I even see anyone?" As soon as these words came out, Wang Hu, who stared straight ahead, immediately became energetic and agreed. "Yes, Brother Ming, how did you know?" "I didn't even smell the sour smell, but you have already identified the suspect." "I'm a little suspicious. Are we taking the same criminal investigation class?" Su Ming narrowed his eyes and looked ahead, shrugged and answered with a relaxed attitude. "Not to mention the sour burning smell, this is already a very obvious characteristic of taking number 4 drugs. As for how to judge that it is the man in the construction site uniform, it's actually very simple. First of all, Zhongshan Road Pedestrian Street is a mature commercial tourist destination. There is no construction site nearby. At the same time, it is the working hours of the construction site now. If you want to explain that you came here in a hurry, but I didn't see any panic or haste in the eyes of the middle-aged man. There is only tension and uneasiness, and he looks around from time to time, as if he is afraid of being discovered. And the most important thing is, his construction site there are no spots or dust on the clothes. It's afternoon now. Since there is no time to change clothes, how can there be no traces on the body when wearing construction site clothes to such a place with a large flow of people? There is only one possibility. That is, he didn't go to work at the construction site at all. He wore this clothes just to cover it up. All these combined can prove it. This seller knows that he has a sour smell on his body, so he wears construction site clothes just to cover up the smell and reduce his own attention. After all, everyone has seen a lot of workers, but they won't pay more attention subconsciously. Speaking of this, Su Ming seemed to remember a case he had simulated before, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Actually, this cellar is full of flaws. The best way to hide is to wear the clothes of a sanitation worker and carry a waste recycling bag to cover up your own smell with garbage. When picking up bottles in the trash can, throw the cigarette box containing the number 4 drug next to the trash can and wait for the buyer to receive it. In this case, even if we send more people, I'm afraid it will be difficult to catch him. These words made Su Changsheng's eyes tremble slightly. What kind of talent is this? In such a short time just now, Su Ming could think of so many details and immediately identify the suspect. The most amazing thing is, even now he can come up with a more perfect means of crime. Disguised as a sanitation worker. Using a garbage bag to cover up your own odor is beyond imagination. Wang Hu, who was sitting in the back row, had already opened his mouth wide and couldn't help but take a breath. Brother Ming, do you want to exaggerate? You have even thought of the best means of committing a crime. Luckily you are a criminal police officer now, otherwise I suspect you would have become the most perfect criminal. Su Ming smiled nonchalantly. At this moment, the low voice suddenly sounded in the headphones of the 3 people in the car. Another fish appears. Chapter 5. A level fugitive with 3 lives on his hands. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This voice. The 3 of them were instantly in the right state, their eyes were fixed on the bushes at the exit in front. It was obvious, this was the information sent in advance by other plainclothes detectives who saw the strange movements of the people. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. A few seconds later, in the sight of the 3 people, a sturdy man appeared, wearing a loose and ill-fitting black short-sleeved shirt, colorful beach pants, a pair of worn-out slippers on his feet, and a simple and not-so-regular flat head. He didn't even observe the surrounding environment, and directly picked up the cigarette box in the bushes. Then, something unexpected happened to everyone. This sturdy man with a flat head actually opened the cigarette box and took a look, and then stuffed it into his arms. He took out a pack of cigarettes from his bulging pocket. He took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth, lit it, took a deep puff, and exhaled a thick puff of smoke. Then he took out his mobile phone and seemed to be dialing a number, but, on the left hand holding the mobile phone, the little finger was cut off by a sharp weapon, and the wound had not yet fully healed, which looked a bit hideous. There was also a huge scar mark on the back of the hand that had just faded. Now this man not only did not leave immediately, instead, he stayed there without any fear or timidity, smoking a cigarette and making a phone call. At the same time, the micro-earphone in his ear sounded a low voice again. Old Su, how to deal with it? I think we can close the net directly. Now both fish have arrived. Asked whether to close the net, Su Tianxing did not answer immediately, because, the current strange state of this man, made him frown slightly, as if he didn't quite understand. Su Ming also carefully observed the distance. His mind was constantly thinking, and his extremely rich experience in simulating crimes enabled him to easily capture and analyze every detail. No. This situation is not right now. Normally, ordinary drug users are afraid of being caught during transactions, which will make it difficult to wash away the drug. Definitely not like this sturdy man. After getting the drugs, he actually stood there smoking and making phone calls. There are only 3 possibilities for this situation. That is, either this man is a new drug addict and has never experienced the country's determination to ban drugs. But, someone who can directly buy 25 grams of number 4 drugs is definitely not a new drug addict. The second possibility is, this man is addicted to drugs and can't wait to go home to smoke, so he chooses to smoke heroin at the receiving place to relieve his addiction. But this man only checked the purity. He put away the cigarette box and took out his own cigarettes, which means there is no such possibility. The third possibility is, this man is a complete desperado. The police can no longer put much pressure on him. He must be carrying a major case. Because if he is caught, he may have to eat peanuts. This man has been completely numb. He thinks that he can earn more every day, so he is naturally not afraid of the police. The most important thing is, this man definitely has an accomplice, and it was that accomplice who asked him to buy number 4 heroin, otherwise he would not call to report immediately. From the wounds on the little finger and the back of the hand, it can be judged, about 10 days ago, this man had a sharp weapon fight with others, resulting in the chopped off little finger and the back of the hand. At the same time, because he did not dare to seek medical treatment, he became such a hideous wound. The crew cut was also irregular, not like a professional barber shop. The ill-fitting clothes and beach pants, as well as the old slippers on his body, show that the man has not had a good time during this period, or, he didn't even have the opportunity and time to take care of his own clothes. There is a certain probability that, a wanted criminal from a certain place has fled to the Magic City. It can also be judged from the cigarette smoked by the sturdy man. It is not a common and easy-to-buy cigarette in the Magic City, but a Changbai Mountain cigarette that is quite popular in the 3 northeastern provinces. The smoking action is also very skillful, and it can be judged that he is an old smoker. All old smokers, basically have their own favorite cigarette brands, and they will never change under normal circumstances. Based on the experience of 100,000 crime simulations, Su Ming can understand the inner thoughts of the real desperado, since being caught is just a peanut. It is better to enjoy your favorite thing before being caught. Cigarettes look small, but, for the desperado, it is the most important psychological comfort. In the crime simulation, Su Ming doesn't know how many times, because of excessive psychological pressure, these habitual small details are exposed, and finally he is caught and fails to commit crimes. So now we can roughly judge, the sturdy man in front of us is probably a major fugitive who fled from the 3 northeastern provinces to the Magic City, and the crime he committed was within this month. At this moment, just when Su Ming finally sorted out his thoughts, although he intuitively felt something was wrong, Su Changsheng, who could not see the problem, finally gave up the idea of further investigation. He pressed the miniature earphone beside his ear and frowned and said, "No more waiting, start collecting now." Before he finished speaking, Su Ming interrupted him and hurriedly stopped him. "Wait. I suspect this man is a fugitive from the 3 northeastern provinces who has fled to the Magic City, and he has at least one accomplice. Don't close the net yet." This sentence made Su Changsheng stunned for a moment, and then he immediately reacted. "Aki, Lao Lin, wait. Don't arrest him yet. Don't let this man leave your sight. I need to further investigate his identity here. You wait for my order." After saying that, he stared at Su Ming with a puzzled look. It seems that he wants to hear, where did this man come from that Su Ming judged him to be a fugitive, and an important fugitive from the 3 northeastern provinces. However, Su Ming has no intention of explaining now. He turned to look at Wang Hu behind him and gave a command. "Huzi. Now check the list of fugitives released by the 3 northeastern provinces in the past month to see if there is anyone who looks similar to this man. Just pay attention to the appearance. The hairstyle may have changed." Although Wang Hu was a little confused, but for so many years, he has always strictly followed Su Ming's instructions. Then he immediately took out his mobile phone, log into the police internal pursuit system and select the fugitives in the 3 northeastern provinces in the past month. It took less than 30 seconds. Wang Hu glanced at his mobile phone, and then compared it with the man in front of him, and immediately screamed, "Fuck! A-level fugitive. And he has 3 lives in his hands." Chapter 6 Drug Addict. No, a desperate criminal who robs his fellow criminals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Let me see it. Su Changsheng's eyes trembled in disbelief, and he quickly snatched Wang Hu's phone. The next second, the detailed wanted information of this sturdy man has already come into view. Class A fugitive. Name, Luo Zhen. Age, 32. Gender, male. Features, long hair, sturdy body, missing left little finger. Case, 15 days ago, in Chun City, Jilin Province. He and 2 other people robbed and fought at a drug trading point in the suburbs of Chun City, killing 3 people and seriously injuring 1 person. A total of more than 100,000 yuan of property was robbed. The 3 fled south after the incident. Compared to the wanted list announced to the public, this kind of wanted information within the police system is obviously much more detailed. After Su Changsheng finished reading it, staring at the sturdy man who was still smoking not far away, his smiling expression disappeared, and his eyes were cold. Good fellow. I originally just wanted to catch a drug addict, but I didn't expect to catch a big fish. It seems. This A-level fugitive named Luo Zhen is not the so-called buyer of number 4 drugs, but is using this transaction as a prelude. Another thief robbing another thief. Speaking of this, Su Changxing pressed the micro-earphone and said without question. The situation has changed. Aki Lao Lin, this man is a Class A fugitive from Jilin province, and there is an accomplice hiding. Don't alert him for now. Just follow him, don't reveal your whereabouts, and wait until he goes to find the other 2 fugitives, then arrest them all. That's right. Lao Chen, Xiao Su, follow that fish and close the net first. Pay attention. Is the fish you are following making a phone call? You must wait until he stops making a phone call before closing the net. I'm worried. Just now, this fugitive called that fish, just to gain trust and make an appointment to come out, and then rob the thieves again. After giving the order, Su Changxing exhaled a breath of turbid air, and a trace of fear appeared on his face. If the sturdy man had been arrested directly just now, it would definitely alert the other 2 hidden desperados. At that time, knowing that they were discovered by the police and had no way to escape, what kind of things would the 2 desperados do? I really dare not imagine, because of these desperate criminals, knowing that they are in a desperate situation, it is very likely that they will go to the streets and kill people indiscriminately. Put down the complicated thoughts in his mind, Su Changxing looked at Su Ming beside him with a complicated expression, and exclaimed with emotion. Su Ming. You really surprised me. You can find out that something is wrong so keenly. If you can catch the 3 fugitives in one fell swoop later, you will definitely do a great job. But I'm a little curious. What is the reason that allows you to judge that this sturdy man is a major fugitive from the 3 northeastern provinces? That Wang Hu, who was sitting in the back row, he also hurriedly came forward and urged anxiously. Yes, Brother Ming, tell me quickly. How did you find this fugitive? Give me some experience, I also want to make a contribution. Looking at the curious 2 people, Su Ming couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He didn't intend to say his previous speculation, after all, that it was too troublesome to explain, and he would be questioned again, so he shrugged and said easily. No tricks. As long as you can develop the habit of looking at the wanted list of fugitives posted on the internal platform every once in a while, you can do it too. I just felt that. This sturdy man looked familiar, but I was not sure, so I mentioned it. Come to think of it. The reason why I didn't have a deep impression of him was probably because he shaved his long hair into a flat head. There is no doubt, this explanation is very reasonable, bar book 69 new. After all, there are indeed many criminal police who have the habit of looking at wanted fugitives from time to time. Su Changxing sighed twice, still praising with admiration. Whether it is analysis or the habit of looking at wanted fugitives. Xiao Ming, you have done a great job. It will not be difficult to get a regular job in advance. Now just wait and see when this fugitive will meet up with others. That while everyone was waiting quietly, the 2 criminal policemen, Lao Chen and Xiao Su, also found a secluded place and arrested the seller directly. Perhaps he knew that this would be his 3rd time in prison, and the drugs he sold were not small. Even if he didn't eat peanuts, he would have to spend more than 10 years in prison. The seller, nicknamed Skinny Dog, was so scared that he trembled all over and couldn't say a complete sentence. As Skinny Dog was arrested, everyone in this operation focused their attention on the fugitive. However, what puzzled everyone was, 10 minutes passed, this A-level fugitive named Luo Zhen was always strolling in the pedestrian street, and there was no other action at all. Even, he had time to go to the store to buy a new pair of pants and replace his original beach pants. However, he would often take out his mobile phone to check. This look, it was as if he was waiting for some instructions. Su Changxing stroked his chin, thinking with sharp eyes, and pressed the micro headset. Aki, Lao Lin, have you 2 been exposed and awakened this big fish? So he deliberately stayed on the pedestrian street and didn't plan to meet the other 2. Before he finished speaking, Su Changxing overturned his guess, shook his head and continued. That's not right. Knowing that he was exposed, this kind of desperate criminal should do something uncontrollable. and still have the mind to buy pants? Could it be? The problem lies with the captured skinny dog. The three fugitives planned to rob the gang, but because the two hidden people never contacted the skinny dog, they thought that the skinny dog and Luozhen were exposed. Only this reason can explain why Luozhen never left, and he took out his mobile phone from time to check. Obviously, as an experienced criminal policeman, Su Changsheng's reasoning ability is not weak at all. He immediately thought of the source of the problem and quickly communicated. Lao Chen, Xiao Su, take out the phone of Shogo that you just confiscated and have a look. Are there any text messages or missed calls? I suspect that the three fugitives are contacting Shogo. After dozens of seconds, response came from everyone's headset. Lao Su, there are indeed 2 missed calls, the most recent one was 2 minutes ago. Since Xiao Su and I are not clear about the current situation, we deliberately did not answer this call, but I guess they will call again soon. But the key now is. Shogo, this old slick, is so scared that he can't even say a word now. As long as he answers the phone, he will be exposed immediately. I guess no one answered the 2 calls, and the 2 fugitives are about to wake up, and they can't wait for Shogo to calm down. That the situation at the moment is very tricky. If the next call is not received, the other 2 fugitives who are hiding somewhere will understand that they have been exposed and will definitely continue to flee at the first time. By then, even if we get clues about the 2 fugitives from Luozhen, it is estimated that there will be no place to track them down. Just when time is getting more and more urgent, Su Ming pressed the micro headset and spoke slowly with great confidence. Brother Chen. Can you bring Shogo and the mobile phone to Brother Sheng as quickly as possible? I can imitate Shogo's voice to answer the phone, and the 2 fugitives will probably not be able to hear the difference. Since they are planning to rob the thieves, we can naturally use this method to lure them out. Chapter 7, Phishing Enforcement. Who doesn't know how to do that? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Imitate the sound of a skinny dog. What Su Ming said made both Su Changsheng and Wang Hu stunned for a moment. With an expression of surprise and confusion, Su Changsheng asked quite seriously. Xiao Ming, are you sure? You can imitate the voice of a thin dog in such a short time, and how can you prevent the other 2 fugitives from hearing it? To know. This is the best opportunity to capture the other 2 fugitives. If something goes wrong, it will be difficult. Although Su Ming's previous performance was amazing, but this was a precious opportunity to capture 2 major fugitives, so Su Changsheng was naturally extremely cautious. Once they escape again, the problem will be even more difficult to deal with. Retaliatory indiscriminate killings are also possible. Su Ming did not answer immediately. Instead, he pulled his own throat with his hand, and after a few additions, he actually said with a voice that was almost exactly the same as Su Changsheng's. Brother Sheng, I think you can give it a try. I originally wanted to be a voice actor when I was in high school, so after practicing voice changing for a while, I can imitate most voices. Besides, the phone will have some distortion, and most people will definitely not be able to hear the problem. Wang Hu is sitting in the back row, hearing Su Ming's changed voice, his eyes were full of horror and shock, and he even complained in his heart, this meow, what kind of genius is Brother Ming? I just taught myself how to change my voice for a period of time in high school, so I can imitate other people's voices at will. We obviously took the class together, why do I look like a waste? But, Wang Hu would never guess, this is not Su Ming's self-taught voice change in high school. It was clearly when he was simulating crime. In order to perfectly carry out various forms of fraud crimes, Su Ming learned and mastered a skill. Su Changsheng restrained his surprise. The top priority was to capture these 3 Class A fugitives, so he pressed the headset without hesitation. Old Chen, hurry up and bring the thin dog over. Don't let the other 2 fugitives wake up, otherwise we will be in trouble. As the order is issued, Old Chen, who was returning to the police station with his thin dog, immediately turned the car around and rushed towards the location of Su Ming and the others as quickly as possible. 3 minutes later, an off-road vehicle drifted into the warehouse and parked next to Su Changsheng's car. Lao Chen directly held the thin dog, quickly stuffed it into Su Changsheng's car, took out the cell phone in a plastic bag and frowned. Old Sue. The two fugitives called again. If we don't deal with it quickly, I feel like they are going to run away again, that the situation is urgent at this moment. Before anyone could remind him, Su Ming immediately took action, looked at the trembling thin dog, and said without any emotion. Skinny dog. Say something to me right now. That my whole body was shaking, and I was just thinking about whether I would eat peanuts or a skinny dog sitting in jail this time. I couldn't say a complete sentence at all, I just opened my mouth slightly. I. But except for the word me, the skinny dog can never make the other half fart, but time and circumstances simply wait for no one. Crack. A crisp slap sounded, the thin dog looked frightened and confused, and there were obvious red marks on his right face. Everyone present quickly raised their heads and looked at Su Ming in great shock. They did not expect that Su Ming would make such a move, but Su Ming didn't seem to care at all, just staring at the thin dog indifferently. Say something. Looking at Su Ming, with a cold look that seemed to have killed countless people, Skinny Dog's psychological pressure suddenly felt worse than sitting on the bottom of a prison cell, and he quickly shouted nervously. Officer, what are you talking about? What do you want me to say? I really don't know. Under horrific pressure, the thin dog finally said a complete sentence. Su Ming also looked away, took the plastic bag from Lao Chen's mobile phone, coughed slightly and pulled his throat, and took out Shogo's mobile phone. He glanced at Su Chongsheng and said seriously. Brother Sheng. We can't put all our hopes on the meeting between the fugitive named Luo Zhen and the other two people. So you'd better ask the technical staff in the brigade to start tracking the location of this phone number when I answer the call. Even if the two fugitives change their mobile phone cards immediately, they will not change the transaction location in order to take advantage of the crime. The safest way is to use two methods to track them. I'm going to answer the phone now. Everyone must not make any noise, so as not to make these two fugitives suspicious. Su Ming's words instantly reminded Su Chongsheng. He immediately opened the car door and signaled to pull the thin dog away. At the same time, he started to contact the technical department of the Criminal Investigation Brigade to trace the phone number. And at this time, Su Ming also answered the phone, turned on the loudspeaker, and shouted impatiently in a voice that was almost the same as that of a skinny dog. Hey, who is it? Why are you calling all the time? Are you looking for death in a hurry? Labor and management are enjoying themselves. Although skinny dogs look like a coward now, but Su Ming can roughly judge, as a veteran who has entered the palace for the second time, and also has the means to purchase number 4 drugs, he must be extremely arrogant in his daily activities. Otherwise, this transaction would not be full of burning and sour smell, and he would simply put on a worker's clothes and come to Zhongshan Road. So, it is most appropriate to answer the phone with this tone and attitude. 3 seconds later. Just as Su Ming thought, the two hidden A-level fugitives not only did not express dissatisfaction with his attitude, but laughed and said indifferently. Brother Go, I have received the fifth-hand goods. That is really pure, compared with those other profiteers who added impurities. I don't know how much better. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the car was completely sure, just as Su Ming just said, the two hidden fugitives didn't hear any problems at all. They all regarded Su Ming as a skinny dog. Su Ming did not have any emotional fluctuations, and still used an impatient tone. The goods are good, isn't that what should be? You can go to the Magic City and ask anyone, which store's goods are better than mine. Do you know who is in charge of this place? Stop talking nonsense. Just beat it. 5 hands can't beat you to death. Hanging up. After that, Su Ming hung up the phone without hesitation. The youngest and inexperienced Wang Hu saw that Su Ming hung up the phone directly when he had already caught a big fish. He was stunned for a moment and hurriedly said. Brother Ming, what are you doing? Wasn't there a problem just now? Why did you hang up the phone suddenly? Su Ming pressed his hand and interrupted Wang Hu's subsequent words. He picked up the phone that showed the incoming call again, took a quick look at the people present, and said calmly and confidently. It was just a test before. The real competition has just begun. Chapter 8. Here we come. Find the hiding place of the A-level fugitive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This kind of fugitive with a life on his hands, that is a real desperado and a frightened bird. Any abnormality will cause the two hidden people to continue to flee in panic and disappear, because once they are caught, it will be a matter of peanuts. This point, Taiwan Novel Network Diamond Suit. Diamond Suit that it can be seen from the fact that Luo Zhen, who was sent out for the transaction, is still wandering in the pedestrian street and has not received the order to return. When they are sure that they have not been discovered by the police, those two people will be as careful as they can be, and once they know that their whereabouts have been exposed, they will become desperados who may do anything. So, the reason why Su Ming hung up the phone first just now was to play hard to get, in order to completely relax the vigilance of the two fugitives. This kind of playing hard to get technique. Su Ming didn't know how many simulated cases he had used in the past 4 years, and he was quite skilled. Old Chen, who was also sitting in the back row, thought about Su Ming's behavior for a few seconds and said with emotion, "He's quite capable. This is a clever counter-logic." In the normal fugitive's imagination, Shogo didn't answer the phone many times before, and it is very likely that he was controlled by the police. But this time he suddenly answered the phone, and there is definitely a possibility that Shogo agreed to cooperate with the police. So once he is in contact, if he doesn't make any cover-up and directly asks about the subsequent transactions or locations, it will inevitably alert the enemy and cause the fugitive to flee in fear. But now taking the initiative to hang up the phone will undoubtedly completely dispel their suspicion. After all, in the minds of fugitives, normal policemen will not be willing to hang up the phone in order to catch them. Great, this detail handling. Before he finished speaking, Old Chen hurriedly stopped talking, because Su Ming had already answered the call that the other party called again, also set to external speaker, imitating Shogo's voice, and said impatiently, "Do you want to die? I've already said that I'm having a great time now. Why do you keep calling me to fuck me?" Su Ming's irritable and vulgar tone, not only did the two fugitives not get angry, but they were more relieved. "Brother Go, don't worry, don't worry. If I don't have a big business, how dare I call you when you're having a great time? Isn't it a big business? It's urgent." Su Ming showed a hint of sarcasm at the corner of his mouth. "Big business? I'm afraid he can't wait to rob the thieves." "Big business? What big business can you have? The 5 hands of Xiao Bai today are enough for you to play for a long time. Don't bother me if you don't have anything to do, otherwise, you will be in trouble." In order to further increase credibility, Su Ming even pretended to be confused after taking drugs, and his words were even more vulgar, like that of an uneducated street thug. The other end of the phone, he seemed even more excited and hurriedly urged, Brother Go, there is really a big business. You should be able to hear that I am not a local in Modu, but I came to this big city from Jilin province to buy goods. The previous 5 hands were just a test to see if Brother Go's goods are pure. Now I see. Brother Go is really the #1 figure in Modu, and his goods are really nothing to say, so I plan to buy more and take them to Jilin province to sell and make a profit. Brother Go, what do you think? Do you have 2 more pieces now? Give them to me." At the same time, Su Changxing gently opened the car door and made an okay gesture to Su Ming and others. This means, the technical department of the Criminal Investigation Brigade has determined the approximate location of the 2 hidden fugitives through the phone number. Next, it depends on where the 2 fugitives will choose to trade, and whether it is the same as the location determined by the technical department. Su Ming narrowed his eyes, deliberately paused for 2 seconds, and continued. 2 pieces. 1 piece is 250 grams, 2 pieces is 1 pound, can you eat so many peanuts? You are not a policeman, are you here to lure me out? 2 pieces of peanuts. If I get caught, I won't even have a chance to work in the kiln, I can just get a few dollars of peanuts. This roar and curse mixed with underground jargon. Su Changxing, who was standing next to him, couldn't help but raise his eyebrows, first puzzled and surprised, and then let out a long sigh, puzzled and surprised where Su Ming learned so many special skills. He was like a criminal genius, lock-picking, voice-changing, psychological guessing, etc. The police academy doesn't teach these things. But seeing the police uniform on Su Ming, Su Changxing's doubts and surprises disappeared instantly. no matter where he learned these weird skills, as long as Su Ming is wearing a solemn police uniform, that's enough. External mobile phone. At this moment, the fugitive's voice was heard again. How can that be, Brother Go? How could I be a cop? If I was really sent by the cops to trick you, how could I still be on the phone now? Just tell me, is that right? The reason I bought 2 more whites was really to make a small profit. Brother Dog, you are a local snake in Shanghai. Foreigners like us certainly don't dare to do anything random. How about it, Brother Dog? Do you want to do this business? That the corners of Su Ming's mouth rose slightly, knowing that the other party has been completely carried away by his rhythm. As long as it's not fishing, I'll naturally do the business. You are considered smart. In this magical city, if you want to ask who can and dares to do these 2 novice businesses, there is no one except me, Skinny Dog. But 2 pieces of white rice, do you know how much they cost? Can they be eaten? Thinking that the thin dog is trapped, the 2 fugitives who planned to commit crime did not hesitate at all. Oh, don't worry, Brother Dog. We 2 brothers came here specially from Ji province just to do big business. Don't worry about whether you can eat it. But because the volume is so large, and we are afraid of local snakes like you, we will provide the trading location, and we will choose. How about the abandoned Hengsu factory on the outskirts of the magical city of Dongning district? This large amount is definitely not suitable in a downtown area. It has to be a remote place. We have checked this place. There will be almost no people passing by, so you can trade with confidence. Brother Go can bring 1 or 2 more people, we don't mind at all. After all, business needs to be done for a long time. Brother Go definitely won't just focus on the money in front of him, right? Hengsu abandoned factory in the suburbs of Dongning. After hearing about this location, Su Ming immediately looked at Su Chongqing next to him, indicating with his eyes whether it was the same location as the one found by the Criminal Investigation Brigade's technical section. Su Chongqing didn't make any extra moves, just nodded lightly. After getting a positive response, Su Ming once again used an impatient tone, as if he was speaking very reluctantly. Okay, just as you said. You are really a little bitch, and you are afraid that the labor force and the thin dog will take advantage of you. For all these years, don't the people in that magical city know that the labor-managed thin dog sells the purest goods, and even if he went to the bitter kiln, he didn't give up half his brother? No more. Wait in that factory, and when the excitement of labor and management wears off, go over there with 2 pieces of money. After saying that, Su Ming hung up the call without any hesitation. Chapter 9 Operation Thunder. Successfully captured the A-level fugitive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Su Ming hung up the phone, Su Chongqing also seized the time and told the story immediately. No problem. The location that Xiao Ming just fished out, the Hengsu abandoned factory in the suburbs of Dongning, basically matches the communication address locked by the technical department. These 3 A-level fugitives are extremely vicious, and their hiding place is in the Dongning district next door. I will immediately notify the Forestry Bureau and ask the personnel from the Dongning Criminal Investigation Brigade to assist us. Speaking of which, Su Chongqing suddenly remembered something and quickly pressed the mini headset. Archie, Lao Lin, take a look at the fish you are following. Are you ready to leave the pedestrian street? What? Are you ready to leave now? Then you 2 protect yourselves and observe whether the direction he is traveling is towards the outskirts of Dongning district. If the direction is correct, then follow it from a distance, and remember not to be exposed to avoid accidents. That's when the 3 major fugitives gather together, we will catch them all in one fell swoop. Then Old Chen and Shaoli, after you bring the thin dog back to the brigade, come back and meet us immediately. Shogo has nothing to stand trial for. Now that he's so cowardly, and everyone gets the stolen goods, he can just be locked up in there and wait for the court to judge him. As for what others say, pack up your equipment and put on your police uniform, and start the most important arrest operation. Huaihai District Criminal Investigation Brigade, Lin Tian, who was still in the office researching the unsolved case of 5.13 corpses, heard Su Changxing's story on the phone. He immediately stood up in shock and gave an unquestionable order with a stern look on his face. Xiao Su. Don't alert the 3 fugitives, so as not to cause unnecessary harm to nearby people. When these desperados are in desperate situations, they always think that they can pull one into the water. This arrest operation is extremely dangerous. So remember. As the commander of this operation, even if you coordinate the help of the criminal police from Dongning district, you must be prepared to kill the criminals on the spot. As long as you are sure you are a Class A fugitive, you must shoot in critical situations. Don't be reckless. I'm waiting for your good news, and I'll reward you based on your merits. After hanging up, Lin Tian casually threw the microphone on the table, leaned on the chair, rubbed his chin and muttered to himself. This Su Ming is a bit interesting. Should I say this is talent? Or just luck? I made such a great achievement on the first day of my internship. And according to what Xiao Su said, it was thanks to Su Ming that he identified the fugitives this time. Otherwise, those 2 hidden fugitives would have done something unknown. TSK, it's still a trainee police officer who hasn't become a full-time police officer. What a scary young man. That with the arrest order issued, the Huaihai District Criminal Investigation Brigade and the Dongning District Criminal Investigation Brigade took action immediately, because these 3 Class A fugitives are extremely dangerous. The heavily armed special police officers were all dressed and in place to avoid any possible accidents. At the same time, 2 professional SWAT snipers have also been dispatched, who will be stationed at high altitudes as the last line of insurance. All the surrounding eyes are open, and there are dedicated personnel checking the specific movements at all times. In the police car, Su Changxing, who had changed into a police uniform, was making final preparations. He pulled out the police gun from his waist and checked it twice. Looking at Su Ming and Wang Hu next to them, they shook their heads and said helplessly. On the first day I took you on a mission, I didn't expect to encounter such a large-scale arrest operation. I really don't know whether to call it good luck or what. But I just told the Forest Bureau that you played a key role in catching these 3 Class A fugitives this time, especially Su Ming. It can be said that I almost single-handedly caught these 3 fugitives. There will definitely be rewards when the time comes, and I guess at least I won't have to do an internship. That's what's called a reward. Su Ming didn't pay attention at all, but kept thinking and thinking. If he were replaced by those 3 fugitives, how could he do better and achieve a truly perfect crime? But no matter what you think, even with the experience of 100,000 simulated crimes, Su Ming could not find a suitable solution, because, from the moment he was wanted by Jilin Provincial Police, this crime cannot be called perfect. No matter how you escape, there is a possibility of being caught. A truly perfect crime should not miss a single flaw from the moment it is prepared for action. And when Su Ming kept thinking, Wang Hu stared at Su Changxing's gun, his eyes full of hope and expectation. It's obvious, as a trainee criminal police officer who is not short of money, what Wang Hu looks forward to most is, have your own police rifle. Su Changxing naturally saw Wang Hu's expression and smiled without saying anything else. Police rifle, it's not just glory and force, but also huge pressure, something more important than life. Now, inside the abandoned Hengsu factory in the suburbs of Dongning, Luo Zhen, a sturdy fugitive who had just returned from the pedestrian street, was holding a 4-arm-long boning knife and was constantly polishing it on the stone. Beside him, a bald fugitive with a bare upper body and a tattoo of a dragon on his shoulders wrapped his palms with gauze to prevent him from accidentally letting go and being killed when he swung a knife. After wrapping the gauze, the bald fugitive looked at the last thin fugitive who was taking drugs next to him, frowned and snorted. Stop taking drugs. The other party is coming soon. You are still taking drugs here. Will you be able to swing the knife later? Don't give me any trouble. 2 whole blocks of heroin. After doing this job, it will be enough for the 3 of us to run away for several years. When the rumors die down, it is not impossible to return to our Jilin province. Upon hearing this scolding, although the thin fugitive showed dissatisfaction, he did not dare to refute the bald fugitive. He temporarily threw the 5 handfuls of heroin brought back by the sturdy fugitive aside, picked up an axe, and said impatiently, Brother De, can it work this time? Will Skinny Dog really bring two white guys to trade just because of our phone call? I always feel something is wrong. Logically, people like Skinny Dog should be timid and afraid of death. Before the skinny fugitive finished speaking. Dong dong dong, outside the iron gate of the abandoned factory, there was a rapid and forceful knock on the door. The bald fugitive glanced at it and gestured to the iron gate. Look, isn't it coming? No matter how timid Skinny Dog is, he can't help making money, let alone such a big business. Go, open the iron gate. No matter how many people come later, when I say to start, kill 3 first. Seeing someone knocking on the door, the skinny fugitive who had just taken drugs was obviously excited and jumped towards the iron gate, but just when he was about to open the bolt. Bang! A violent kick on the door sounded. The old iron door was kicked down directly, pressing on the thin fugitive, causing him to fall into a coma. Then, 2 tear gas canisters with irritating white smoke were thrown directly into the factory from outside the door. This sudden situation, the bald fugitive was stunned for a moment, and then he shouted in panic. Damn, Jean, the green clothes are coming. Ahem, run quickly, kill them with knives, and you will win even if you change a green clothes. Inhaling irritating gas, the bald fugitive was choked and his tears were streaming, and he was about to pick up the machete on the ground. Bang! The dull sound of the sniper rifle firing sounded. The bald fugitive's arm exploded instantly, and the severe pain made him fall to the ground and howl. The strongest and most powerful fugitive had been pressed to the ground by several special police wearing gas masks and holding explosion-proof shields. With a Type 54 rifle on his head, Su Chongqing followed the special police in. Seeing that the 3 people had been completely controlled, he immediately pressed the micro-earphone. The arrest operation has been successfully completed. Let the doctor come in immediately. The 2 fugitives were seriously injured due to resistance. Thank you for your hard work, the team is packed. Chapter 10 The terrifying amount of thinking, becoming a regular employee in one day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Arrest operations after identification of suspects, Taiwan Novel Network. Basically, they are extremely fast and accurate, and will not give the suspect any chance to resist and escape. In particular, faced with such ferocious desperados, major criminal investigation brigades will not blindly arrest them alone, but will basically let heavily armed special police officers assist in the arrest. The sniper bullet that accurately hit the bald fugitive's arm, it further illustrates this point. It is better to leave these fugitives with only one breath than to let them resist fiercely and cause unnecessary casualties during the arrest. 12 o'clock in the evening, dozens of police cars drove back to the Huaihai Criminal Investigation Brigade in an orderly manner, except for the bald fugitive who was hit by a sniper rifle and was undergoing emergency surgery in the hospital. Several people were sent to control and care for him. The other 2 fugitives were not seriously injured. A surprise interrogation was conducted as soon as possible in order to dig out the specific details of the case. Inside the Criminal Investigation Brigade office, Wang, who was holding 2 bowls of freshly brewed instant noodles, and looked at Su Ming, who was sitting on the chair thinking, still feeling a little excited. Brother Ming, what are you thinking about? Are you still thinking about the arrest just now? To be honest, you can participate in such an arrest on your first day on the job. Who would dare to believe it? But it's really unbelievable that these 3 fugitives from Ji province would come to the Magic City. It feels like it would be better to go to a small, remote city, where it may be easier to hide. Su Ming casually took a bowl of instant noodles. He picked up a fork and flipped the dough skillfully, then shook his head and retorted. Huzi, you take this too much for granted. Because the people in small cities are not complicated, the goals of these 3 people will be bigger. At least they are not as easy to hide as in the Magic City. Of course, the most critical reason why they don't choose small cities is, I originally had the idea of making a lot of money by cheating, so I can continue to escape. I'm afraid there are no sellers as big as Shogo in those small cities. Actually, their choice was wrong from the beginning. They were fugitives who wanted to eat peanuts when they were caught, and they also wanted to prey on drug addicts who were being targeted by the police. I guess I think so. The gangsters won't attract our attention. and they can easily pick up a large amount of money to continue their escape. As everyone knows. Forget it, let's not talk about it. There are so many problems and shortcomings that there is really no need to review it. It's obvious, Su Ming really didn't know how to evaluate and analyze the three fugitives' erroneous escape choices. Anyway, he just didn't see it. If it were him, there are dozens of ways to easily escape this hunt, and Wang Hu, who was sitting next to him, after listening to Su Ming's analysis and explanation, his mouth was wide open and his eyes were full of shock. He didn't even notice that the instant noodles on the fork slipped, then he took a deep breath and was about to say something. Su Changsheng, who had changed into civilian clothes after walking out of the interrogation room, threw his police uniform onto his seat, looked at Su Ming and the two of them and smiled. Hurry up and throw away the instant noodles in your hand. There is no reason why you should work overtime and eat instant noodles on the first day you come to the Criminal Investigation Brigade. You will have many opportunities to eat them in the future. Let's go, I'll treat you to a supper. In a night market less than 3 kilometers away from the Criminal Investigation Brigade, Su Changsheng found a seat against the wall and sat down. He skillfully pulled out the menu and said it casually and without any pretensions. How's it going? You don't have any taboos, right? If there are no taboos, then just follow our brigade's old habit. Everyone likes to come here to have late-night snacks and relax after a mission. After all, our profession. I really don't have time to eat when I'm busy. Wang Hu sat opposite, he asked curiously while holding a bottle opener to open the beer. Brother Sheng, I'm a little curious. It stands to reason that the crimes committed by both the thin dog and the three fugitives are very big, and they may have to eat peanuts later. But why? How can the interrogation start so quickly? It feels like the interrogation was over in just a few minutes. As the nominal master of the two, Su Changsheng would not hide this kind of question about criminal investigation. He put the filled-in menu on the table and shook his head. Huzi, you are wrong. It's because the cases they committed are all very big and the evidence is solid, that's why the trial can be so fast. Except for the bald fugitive who was trying to stop the bleeding, the other two fugitives have already confessed, or the evidence is so solid that they have no way to defend themselves. As soon as the criminal police from Jilin province got the news, they set off and rushed here. They are currently on the road and will probably arrive tomorrow morning. When the time comes, just hand over these 3 people to Ji province. As for the thin dog, although it looks like he's scared out of his wits, it's probably not that simple and will take a lot of effort to dig out the big fish behind. Speaking of which, Su Ming, who had been thinking about it all the time, picked up the topic at the right time. I think it is probably not that Shogo doesn't want to say it, but that he doesn't know any important information at all, and he doesn't even know who the upstream dealer is. After all, those who dare to sell so many number 4 drugs to Shogo in a place like Magic City must have made all kinds of preparations long ago, and single-line contact is the basis. If we can't dig out the people above, we can only dig down. It is estimated that they are just some small fish and shrimp drug addicts. There is no need to be too anxious. These words, Su Changsheng nodded slightly, took a big sip of the beer in front of him, and praised with satisfaction. Xiao Ming. I really don't know how to praise you, whether it is today's action or the review of the case just now, your terrifying amount of thinking. Really, material for our line of work. By the way, Director Lin just mentioned to me that he asked you two to go to him early tomorrow morning. I guess he wants to talk about the matter of becoming a regular employee. You have made merit and become a regular employee on the first day of internship. This is really a record.